What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. It's great to be here as always. Happy Independence Day, everybody. Make sure that you're having fun out there and be safe. The posts of people losing fingers have already been brought to my attention. They circulate every year, but it seems like every year they get worse and worse as Instagram descends more and more into the dark side, so to speak. But anyway, what I wanted to do today was have a discussion about the Sleepy Joe situation. I think there's a lot of people saying a lot of things, and the truth of the matter is that we don't know the answer, but I'm going to go ahead and give my opinion that is based on at least some kind of unidirectional logic. We'll get into that, but first I wanted to tell you that today's video is brought to you by Mission First Tactical, and it is being brought to you by them today because they are having a 4th of July sale, and I believe that they're going to have a ton of closeouts over there. Remember that we have a closeout discount code, so make sure that you take good advantage of that over at Mission First Tactical. Special thanks to them for making today's video possible. Will Joe drop out, or will he be forced out? Now, as far as being forced out, there's really not a mechanism that allows him to be officially forced out. He can be emotionally forced out. He can be compelled through the powers of influence through family and close associations and all that sort of stuff. He can be forced out, but he has to voluntarily relinquish his position as presumptive nominee for the Democratic National Convention that is coming up here in relatively short order. It is my opinion that he is going to continue his bid for office. And you need look really no further than the whole mantra of absolute power corrupts absolutely. These people that strive to be in office, particularly people like Joe Biden, who have really done nothing else in their life but be in office, which equates to really nothing of substance whatsoever, seeking public office for the sake of seeking public office and personal enrichment and things like that. These people do not give up that power. And I find it very difficult to believe that he is going to just suddenly up and give that up after all of the time that he spent in politics trying to attain this position. So regardless of how the old senile thing is going, you still have a greedy son of a bitch at the heart of it. To tie his wife into it, I think that as someone who is several years his junior, sees her position as First Lady of the United States as probably the pinnacle position that she can reach in her life. So she's probably going to push for him to remain there, right? And of course, you know, Hunter's going to want that pardon from Daddy Dearest. But if we sweep all of those things aside, you guys know that I am not a particularly strong Trump fan. I think that he's perpetrated many evils against our community in his tenure as president last time around. But I am not an idiot to believe that Trump is an insignificant force, right? So when you think of it as far as strategery is concerned, all of the names that have been thrown out there to run against him, would any one of them that has political aspirations above their current station want to risk it against such a insurmountable force? Let's be real here. He's got a lot of money that he's raised. He's got a lot of money by himself. He's just about everything that you do to the dude. He's like the Prince of Darkness, man. Like the dark side of the force. You injure him and it just makes him stronger. Putting somebody like the name that I've heard a whole lot is Newsom. Do you think that that greaseball is going to stake his political future on a last-minute run against Donald Trump? No, that is not going to happen. In today's day and age, if you lose the presidential election, you're pretty much done, except for in Trump's case, I suppose. It's not a good example, but think back to just about every other person that has gone to the general election in your lifetime. They haven't returned. So if you're a Newsom or a Big Mike or somebody like that, insert whatever name you want here, are you going to risk running against a powerhouse like Donald Trump? Or would you rather run against a John McCain or a Mitt Romney or some other softball candidate that the Republicans seem always capable of finding in their wings, some kind of milquetoast, feckless weenie to run against? Yeah, you're going to pick the other one, right? So I think that it's highly unlikely that one of those candidates is just going to jump in at the last minute and shoot their shot, if you will, knowing full well that they're probably more likely to have a chance to win if they were to delay running by 4 years. The only person that I think is a real possibility to take up the reins from Joe if he were to would be Kamala Harris. And that's because she's part of the existing ticket. So she has access to the campaign funds that were raised for his re-election campaign. So she would be able to leverage those. But to be honest, there are fewer people out there that like Kamala Harris than like Joe. So I really don't think that that's a very good route forward for them. Both of these candidates are wildly unpopular. Remember how we got here, guys and gals. These were throwaway candidates. These are people who it's their turn. So they could be put up there, probably lose to Donald Trump, but you know what? We sacrifice them on the altar of it's their turn, and you know they have their shot, so we can fade them into political obscurity type thing. The only problem with that plan is they actually won because, well, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. In closing today, I would like to say there are a lot of gun owners out there that are not registered to vote. And I don't talk about who you should vote for, what you should vote for. That's your decision. That's between you and your creator and your whole system of life, right? You make your own decisions. I don't try to tell you what to do, right? But the fact of the matter is that there is a very large percentage of American gun owners that are not registered to vote, and it's absolutely appalling. And if you find yourself on the side of gun rights, that regardless of the record of both of these candidates, you should go out there and make your voice heard, regardless of what that decision is. But the fact of the matter is that I see a lot of people bitching about what is going on in their government, and they've really done nothing substantive to impact that in any way. And I get it. Oftentimes you feel as though your vote doesn't really matter, and there's this sentiment going around that, you know, you're not going to really impact anything by skipping the election. And what I would say about that is, do you think that that's a coincidence that you, a person that would like more freedom and liberty, feels disenfranchised with the process? Do you think it's a coincidence that you are the person that feels like that? It doesn't seem to me like the people who are leftist, statist progressives find themselves in that situation. They seem to continuously be able to galvanize people to come. Well, I should avoid those terms. Do you think it's a coincidence that you do not have a similar system on your side? I don't think it's a coincidence whatsoever. I think that's by design. I wholeheartedly believe that that's another one of the psyops. Just like you saw everybody in the last couple days post all of the graphs that show Trump way ahead of the competition. That's the same thing they did with like the red wave in 2022, right? oh, I don't need to go because it's in the bag, right? That so many millions of gun owners across America are not registered to vote is absolutely disgusting to me. And here's the thing. While it is vitally important who is in charge of the country, I mean, I think we've all seen it demonstrated how important it is to have a strong leader at the helm of our government, right? I mean, just go look at the cost of meat, for instance. And it doesn't take a whole lot to figure out the downstream effects of having poor leadership in that office. But what is more substantive and what is more important to you in your day-to-day life are the smaller elections. Everything from your school board to your governor. And those are the elections that you absolutely must participate in because those are the ones that shape all of the issues that directly impact you. Not the big picture stuff, but the day-to-day things that touch you every single day. Show me on the doll where the government touched you. 37 years old. I've never missed a vote that I was eligible to make. I came close this year. We had a weird election day that was out of the blue that I failed to put into my calendar. I almost missed my first one ever since becoming eligible to vote. I am put on a list when I turned 18 that I could be called up by my government and sent to some hellhole somewhere else on earth that my country has no business sending me to fight for freedom and die. And one of the perks of doing that is being able to vote. Now, we'll stay completely out of the female privilege side of suffrage here, but I have seen votes go by the smallest of margins. Case in point, Brandon Herrera lost the primary election in Texas 23 by 400 votes. Several 100,000 people in that district, and he lost by 400 votes. Razor thin. And in that case, we would have had a jackass like this at the helm of government. Those are the opportunities that you miss when you are not registered to vote. And I think that's where I'll leave it. Happy 4th, everybody. Keep all your fingers. Bye.